best job in the world. I get to pick on kids and their parents and teachers and the occasional principal every
Hello,
day.
I am Flynn, and this is my sister Ava. We are interviewing for Dystinct magazine, and we are joined by Simon da Roza. Simon is a father of four.
Very proud granddad of two, a dog lover, and has been teaching for more than 35 years, who now works as a coach, counsellor, and educator, helping young people, parents, and teachers create brighter futures. Hello, Simon.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for this opportunity to share.
Thank you. Tell us about your business, Xceptional Learners.
Yeah, exceptional learners creating brighter futures together. Well, I worked with the Department of Education for a number of years. Then it was clear that neurodivergent kids weren't really being supported in the way I think they should have been supported. And over the years, I'd learned lots and lots of hacks having children with who were also neurodivergent and teaching in various places. I learned a lot of tricks. So what I did was I left the Department of Education and I started up my therapy place. And I have been supporting kids to help better understand the neurology of what's going on and give them strategies that actually work and make a difference. And I share those with parents because parents can sometimes be well-meaning and wonderful, but can actually accidentally make life a little bit harder for their kids. So I also educate parents and teachers. Sometimes don't always know how to help kids to be the best they can be. So I work with teachers as well to help kids just be awesome or awesomer.
What are your workshops all about and who can attend?
Well, I have a variety of workshops. I workshops for teachers who have neurodivergent kids in their class and would like to know how to support them better. I run workshops for parents who learn a lot of neurology, a lot of the about executive functioning, a lot about dyslexia, autism, ADHD, etc., so that they can better support kids with strategies that actually work. And I often tell them, don't worry about homework.
Yeah.
Kids like that. But I explain why it is so difficult for kids to be able to do homework, etc. And then occasionally I do workshops for psychologists and psychiatrists and GPs because they don't always have a great deal of knowledge or understanding unless they have a neurodivergent person in their family or they're neurodivergent themselves. Often what we find is a lot of those doctors are all very high functioning and have had the intelligence to help them mask and pretend and get through. So they've never had to really deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I do. And I also run a dad's group as well to talk about raising neurodivergent kids as a dad.
Cool. What inspired you to get into coaching and counseling?
Well, I've always worked with kids and little kids, and I always seem to be working on well-being teams or welfare teams, and I've worked in some of New South Wales' hardest schools, and I learned a lot of skills to help kids be the best they can be. So, what inspired to be a coach was, to be helpful. Um, and also, I didn't want kids to experience school the way I did, which was not very pleasant. And to be a counselor, I found that sometimes I was actually, people would share things with me, and I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing and making sure that I was looking after people's well-being. So I did a degree in counseling just to make sure that everything I'd been developing in my practice was appropriate and was founded on good science and research.
Yeah, okay. Do you
Oh, and
do
it's
you or
fun.
anyone in your family have neurodiversity?
Yes, but they don't all accept it. It runs in families, and I can see it now. I didn't know I had a very late diagnosis, and but it is clear to me now that yes, it runs right through our families, and my cousins as well.
You've kind of already answered this question, but what struggles, if any, do you have at school? Did you have at school?
Well, they didn't know about dyslexia and they didn't know about ADHD. And when I was a kid, the way they used to control me was with fear and with physical punishment. So I would often get the cane for spelling mistakes. Um, I could read okay, but writing was very difficult for me. I just couldn't see it like other kids. I can remember once in year five, I think it was in year five or six, because I loved science fiction. I loved kind of reading, and escaping into science fiction. And Star Wars had just come out. I used to miss school to go into the movies and watch them, pretend I was sick. But I always wanted to write about it. And I remember in class, all my pencils and rubbers, there were always space stations, and I was creating all these stories all the time because I had an inattentive presentation apparently. But this teacher said to me, Simon, you spell your name with a capital S. And I'd go, put a capital S in front of my name, and then I have capital S, small s, IMON. And because I was literal, they just said, put a capital S in front of your name. So I'd put a capital S in front of my name. And yeah, and so unfortunately, they thought I was stupid. And they kind of treated me as stupid. And unfortunately, I believed for many, many years I was actually stupid, and there was something very wrong with me. That yeah, that like I was broken in some way. So schooling for me was very difficult, and getting organized was very difficult, but somehow I got through. I'm not too sure how. Actually, I think it all happened because I wanted to go out with a girl in year 10 called Catherine Granger, and she wouldn't go out with me unless I'd read Lord of the Rings. Now, they're pretty thick kind of books, and I suppose back then it was the Harry Potter of our times, but your times, maybe generation above you, maybe. Anyway, I got right into reading then, and uh, I think that actually got me through accidentally. So I didn't write, but now I write a lot, and people kind of like what I write. But I've found supports like Grammarly and chat sometimes to give me a hand with bits and pieces. But yeah. So yeah, I didn't get a lot of support at school, and it was difficult, but I muddled through somehow. Um,
What additional support at school did you receive for your neurodiversity?
Oh, I can remember. Oh, well, none. They didn't know what neurodiversity was. I was just a naughty boy, yeah, with good hair, I think. Anyway, uh, no, my mum used to make it go straight. I remember being put into the special class, and I was segregated into a small group, and they had this thing that I had to read, and it was a speed reader. The line would go up like this, and you had to keep up with the reading. Otherwise, oh, it was awful. It was line by line. It was awful. It was not based on any good reading at all. But that was the kind of only support I got. Sometimes I was sent home because I got so many spelling words wrong. I had to write them out 50 times. And I can remember having to write out the word kitchen 50 times at night. But I didn't spell it with a K. I spelled it with a C. And when the teacher said, Simon, you've spelt kitchen wrong 50 times. Kitchen starts with a K, not a C. I went, yeah, but a K takes so long to write. I just thought I'd do a C instead of a K. And they would just throw their hands up and go, "Oh, we don't know what to do with you." I go, "What are you talking about? I think it was a really good solution. I'm a great problem solver."
Yeah.
Yeah. How did your parents help you?
They didn't. They had no idea. No idea at all. In fact, the kind of only support once I got was from my grandmother, who sat me down and helped me prepare for a test or a quiz on something like, first settlement or something like that. And I can remember doing it with her, and she sat with me, and she was patient, and she was great. And the day I did the test, I got called out the front with one of the other kids. I can't remember her name. And I thought, oh no, I'm in trouble again. Standing out the front, they're going to tell everyone how silly and stupid I am and how bad I am at doing things. And they said, no, not only did these two people get everything right, but they spelt it all correctly as well. And I thought they must have made a mistake. It couldn't be me. And it was the one and only time I ever got any praise, and the whole class was so shocked that I could even spell my name correctly. That they all clapped and they all applauded, but it was really not anything they had done, and certainly not anything I had done, but someone who just was patient and kind and relentlessly trying to help me with something. But so yeah, nah, nothing. I didn't really know how to help at all.
How did you translate from school to work?
Well, I knew I loved working with kids, so that's why I became a teacher. But there was no transitioning at all. I couldn't wait to get out of school. I was hoping university would be a nice new fun start. And yeah, I just couldn't wait to get out of school and away from those people and away from those teachers. I just couldn't get out of there fast enough. Yeah, I didn't really do well enough, but I did well enough to get into teaching, and that's really all I wanted to do.
What made
Which
you
kind of
want
leads
to?
me, I think, to your next question about how I do in a female dominated. I became a teacher because I thought, well, if there's more girls there, I'm probably going to get a date. Didn't work.
You could tell the
Not
change.
even the hair worked on them. But I also did a lot of work in boys' education when I was in Mudgee, and I had the privilege of, well, as the assistant principal, so I could kind of organise it myself. I had like a whole heap of kindergarten kids come through, but I had more girls than boys, and because I had like 5 classes, I could only put like 3 or 4 boys in each class, and that was pretty tough. And then I thought, what if I put all the boys just in one class and just taught them differently? And didn't worry about reading and got their dads in every afternoon. And we had sensory motor programs, and we got the fire brigade in to come in weekly, and parents who came in would cook weekly. And I built this great sandpit out the back that which you could go and play in if you didn't really feel like learning that day. And we built a vegetable garden so we could go out and do veggies and stuff like that. And sometimes, the dads come up after work, and they'd just look after the garden. They'd say who'd want to look in the work in the garden. So we'd send out a few people. They could just go and do that. And other dads came in and read. And that accidentally taught me a whole heap about neurodivergent kids and how kids learn really well. And we had fun, and they felt safe at school. And when they felt safe, when they felt kind of like having fun and they wanted to be there, they learned so quickly. And we had so much fun with it that they all wanted to be great readers. So they'd practice their little hearts out. And I suppose I'd always known that there was a much better way to teach. And that's what I try and get people to do now, is just have some fun. I feel really sad for teachers at the moment that they've got so much to do and they don't have the chance to develop relationships and have fun like I was able to do. And it was only through having that fun that I realized how engaged kids were and how great this was for neurotypical kids and how actually really important it was for neurotypical kids to feel seen and heard and understood. So that's what happens here in my workshop. I have lots of space.
If you could tell a teacher about neurodiversity, what advice would you give them?
Every presentation is absolutely unique, and every solution, therefore, has to be unique. And I love the term they use in New Zealand to support teachers. And I won't try and say it incorrectly, but it means in your time and in your way. I want teachers to realize kids want to learn. We're human as a species. We're made to learn, but we're not always going to learn the way school wants you to learn. Okay, it's not a conveyor belt. It's not a cookie cutter. No, it's much more interesting. And I would say, look out for that. Get really curious and see what kids, listen to kids. Yeah, kids want to be there. I'd say to teachers, hey, the experts are actually the kids and the parents. They may be told they're not the experts, but teachers actually aren't the experts. The kids and the parents are the experts. And that's okay. They don't have to know everything, but listen to the kids, but always prioritize connection and relationship over coercion and compliance. Got to have relationship and connection.
What are your hobbies and how do they help your neurodiversity?
Oh, I like to pick my nose. What are you talking about? What?
I do
Nothing.
it.
I love to pick my nose. Nothing better than... No, I do not. How disgusting. You better not, young man. Go wash your hands right now. You did. You repulse me.
You just said you did it.
I lie. Look, see all that smoke? My pants are on fire. Oh, free. Come on. Just a kidder. I do like to have fun. And I inject fun into things because I think smiling is one of the best things we can do for our mental health, and get all that oxytocin and serotonin and going. What do I do? Well, I used to run ultra marathons, which anything over 65 kilometers. So I'd start 100K races. So I'd start on a Saturday morning at 7 o'clock and I would finish Saturday night about 9 or 10, and you'd run for 100Ks, and you'd have stops and things like that in the Blue Mountains. I used to love it because there was only quite a few of us doing it when it first started as a sport, but now there are thousands, and I don't kind of like it too much. I liked being unique that way. Oh, you see, I'm really lucky. My work, I love it. I'm good at it, and people pay me to do it. So I get to do what I love every day. Pick on kids, teachers, and principals. Who wouldn't want that? It's really great therapy.
For our neurodiverse watchers, what tips or advice do you have for them?
For our neurodiverse watchers, for them, be true to you. Be true to you. And sometimes I think we have big feelings for a reason. Sometimes we can be very passionate about things. Sometimes we have so many ideas so quickly that we can speak over people and we can call out things because we have these wonderful, fast brains. Don't ever be ashamed of your marvelous, wonderful brain. But know that sometimes at school, it can lead to trouble. Sometimes in relationships, by jumping in all the time, it might seem like you're dominating and taking over. It's not. you're just a really excitable kind of person. That's a beautiful thing. Don't ever be ashamed of you. Your type of thinking that you have is outside the box. It's unique, it's fun, it's different, and it's going to solve problems that we haven't solved. My generation hasn't solved. So be true to you and your brain and never be ashamed of who you are and what you do. But it is an understanding, not an excuse. So if arguing back all the time because of your fast brain is great preparation for being a lawyer or something like that, it's not great for relationships and it's not always great for school. So you kind of have to go, is this the right energy for this situation? And don't let school define you. School just measures this little bit. It doesn't measure all that you are and all that you can be. And it is only a small slice of learning. And I'd like to say one more thing too. People go, oh, but why do I have to learn this? Why it's so boring. Why is I'm never going to use it in my life? Yeah, duh. It's not about the content. It's about the process of developing your brain in a particular way. So you've got the basics and good foundations for other things. That's why language is great and maths is great and geography, even though on a Friday afternoon I could tear my eyes out. But it meant that, you had an idea where some countries were, where other people were coming from. It's just a starting point, and it's really about the process. It's not about the content. And
Well,
ChatGPT is stupid. Go on. Nothing. Don't rely on it.
for our international listeners, what part of the world do you live in, and what is your favourite place that you enjoy there?
Well, I live in Sydney on the northern beaches in a suburb called DY, which is north of a very well-known beach called Manly Beach. I have only been here for 3 years. Um, I lived most of my life in the bush, in the country, on country, in Western New South Wales, in Indigenous communities, small rural communities, alternative communities, and I brought up my kids in a small town called Mudgee. And then life happens, as it does, as you'll find out. And I came back to Sydney a few years ago. And I love being by the beach because I've missed the beach so much. So I love going to the rock pools in the morning with my dog to see dawn. And yeah, was that the question? I've forgotten. So that's my short-term memory. Oh, I say it's my
Good
short-term
question.
memory in executive functioning rather than getting old. I mean, I'm doing okay for 34.
And what is a fun fact about you?
Fun fact about me,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I have not just got dad jokes. I got granddad jokes. Yeah. So in my workshop, if you say oh, I can't do that, then you get punished with a bad joke. Dun, dun, dun. All right, there you go.
Thank you, Simon. It's been amazing talking to someone who focuses on having such a positive mindset.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm just so impressed with the Dystinct magazine and so impressed with you two as well. Good job. Well done.
Thank you everyone for listening. That's Dystinct out.
Like, you know how to make a sausage roll, don't you? You get a sausage, you put it on top of a hill, and you give it a push. So the sausage rolls down the hill. Yeah, yeah. Actually, while we're
Make a
talking,
sausage roll. This day, make a sausage roll.
it does roll though, okay? And it is a sausage, so it does
Sausage
make a
rolls
sausage.
are made out of mince.
Oh, don't get all technical with me. It's a bit like toilet paper likes to roll downhill too. Do you know why? Don't tell me gravity. Uh, because toilet rolls like to go to the bottom. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's what happens here in my workshop. Yeah. You say, oh, I can't do something. We go, no, you've got to have a growth mindset. You've got to just have to do it. Yet, in fact, there was a moose in not the chocolate mousse, but the mousse that you get in Canada. And he started to appear on TV all the time. And they gave him a name. Do you know what they named him? Famous. Famous.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
He had a brother. No one knew his brother. He was anonymous. Yeah, yeah. He had a stepbrother, an evil stepbrother who was really bad, really bad. He was infamous, infamous,
Yeah,
bad,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
famous for the wrong reasons.